All right, we got to get to the Jags. I mean, this is the main thing here. And this is the thing that's driving me nuts. And I presented this question on social media, and I can't help but ask this question. So, Jaguar fans, you're hurting. You're bleeding teal right now. You have lost 4 games, 2 at the bank where you had the fourth quarter lead, another one on the road where you had the fourth quarter lead, and there's really no explicable reason for why this is going on. Now, 2 things are you got to realize. This team is now in fourth quarter games. That's good news. That's a departure from what this football team has been in years past. But you can't get competitive and get in fourth quarter games where you have the lead and then blow it like they have. Now, you could say the first game, the first loss to the Eagles, whatever. That's a good football team. But now you're losing to teams that you shouldn't be losing to when you have the lead in the fourth quarter. The Giants have been in fourth quarter games and have come up with ways to win these games. They've been trailing by double digits. This football team has had the lead in the fourth quarter and has figured out ways to lose. Where do you put? All right, let's just at least start with where do you put the blame at?
Well, I put the blame on the coaching staff and the teammates. If you look at both of these teams' rosters, the Giants and the Jaguars, they're mirror images of each other. I mean, the one difference is the fact that the Giants, when it comes in the fourth quarter, they've come back and they find a way not to implode. The Jaguars do. The Jaguars find every way possible to lose a game. Illegal procedures, unnecessary roughness, missed opportunities in the red zone, not going for it on fourth down, all those type of things. I mean, there's a reason why the Giants are 6-1 and we're 2-5. It's just a matter of the differences. The difference makers are making the mistakes on the Giants side of the ball, and the difference makers on our team are. And it's frustrating, because this team is getting themselves to the point where they are competitive in the fourth quarter. Well, what does that mean if you're losing those games? I mean, you're a good loser. You look good losing is what you're basically doing,
right? Especially
when it comes in the fourth quarter.
Right.
And because it's parallel as a team that when you get in the fourth quarter, you can't make those mistakes. You've got to. We're not good enough to overcome those mistakes in the fourth quarter to win ball.
All right, I'm going to start with positivity, okay? Because I think we need some positivity.
I think that was positive. I thought that was positive.
The positivity is this.
I didn't say we suck. Go ahead.
I mean, they do suck.
Yeah.
All right.
5 losses, okay?
You said it.
In 5 losses, they've all been one-possession games. All of them, one-possession games.
Mm-hmm.
That's growth. There's no doubt about that. This team in the last couple of years is not in one-possession games. This is not, okay? Now, the problem there with that is there's a certain entity, and JJ, if you can help me out with this, there's a certain entity that is hindering this franchise right now. And I want to get into this, but first I'm going to let JJ hit this real quick.
It's coming.
We should send him in. We shouldn't have sent him in. That's a dang coaching mistake. The kids are playing their tail off, and the coaches are screwing it up.
Okay,
that is a nice
That was John L.
throwback.
Smith from 2005. So listen, how many times have we heard Doug Peterson tell Trevor Lawrence, take the profit? It's there. Take the profit. It's the easy throw.
Mm-hmm.
Play for another play. Move the ball down the field. Take the profit. So you're at the 20-yard line. You're up 4. It's the fourth quarter. Every NFL game is a one-possession game for the most part. You're now in one-possession games. You have moved as a franchise to the teams that play in one-possession games. You're up 4. It's the fourth quarter. Take the points. So then you're up 7. Take the points. It's the NFL. I don't know what all this nerd analytic stuff is. I don't care either. I go by the NFL. It's the NFL. Take the profit, take the points. Take the points.
Nerd alert!
If you take the points there, you're up 7, okay?
Wow.
Which completely changes the Giants on the next drive. It's no longer, if we score, we're up. Then it's a little more pressure. You're down 7 at that point. It's a different drive, all right? Then if they drive down the field, you're still tied. You still get the ball with a chance to win.
Totally agree.
Kick a field goal.
Your
kicker hasn't missed a kick since week 1.
It's literally coaching 101.
He missed the extra point, but that's an extra point.
And he's been telling Trevor over and over and over, take the profit. Hey, Doug, take the profit.
Right. And by the way, you can't keep asking your quarterback to sneak at every 4th and inches because they are going to figure it out. When you say the Jaguars have been in all these one-score games, they figured out a way to lose them. The New York Giants have been in all one-score games, and they figured out a way to win them.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that's frustrated me more than anything else. Brian Daboll and Danny Jones have added up to the top or second in the NFC East with the wins that they have been able to put together, okay? 6-1 with a brand new head coach and a guy that they had given up on at quarterback. Meanwhile, you have a Super Bowl winning head coach that's coming here and the number 1 overall pick, the generational one, and this team is figuring out ways to lose one-score games.
Could I offer up some stats as to why that's happening? And,
there's plenty to pour over.
And I know everybody on the text line Design My Lifetime Enclosures. We see you. I see you in my Twitter mentions, how you want to bash Doug, you want to bash Trevor. That's fine. That's cool. But Leon tweeted something yesterday that I think we really need to address, and that is that the Jaguars had 13 penalties for 81 yards against the Giants. The Giants, 8 penalties for 67 yards. So for everyone who was worried about the refs and the fixes in, the Giants had 8 penalties, including 3 of them on that final drive with the questionable roughing the passer call. Let's go back throughout the course of this 4-game losing streak for the Jags. Only 4 penalties last week against the Colts. The Colts actually had 7, excuse me. So that one is a one-off. Let's go to the one against the loss against the Texans. That's right. 4 penalties for the Texans, 6 for the Jaguars. The Eagles loss. That was 3 weeks ago now, and vibes were still great in this town. Only 4 penalties, but the Eagles only had 3. The point is that if you go back, and we can go all the way back to week 1, which was when the penalties were obviously flying everywhere, in which the Jags had 13 penalties for 90 yards compared to 6 for the Commanders. Are we seeing the mistakes, the self-inflicted wounds, which we hear about, I shouldn't fumble the ball. How about you just don't jump off sides? How about you have enough men on the field? Things like that we saw a year ago, Leon, and I didn't think we'd see again. We saw it twice out of 3 plays at one point.
We're having penalties at crucial moments when there was turnovers. The offsides by Trayvon Walker. All right, that was a turnover.
Yes,
that had to come back. All right, the roughing the passer, that we got another turnover that had to be called back. Those are crucial moments in the game where you could just flip the script of the whole game around with that turnover.
The failed 4th down?
Turnovers.
Yeah. I mean, 4 of 14 on 4th downs.
Yeah.
That's 10 turnovers.
It is. And those were crucial moments of the game where you could have totally flipped the script, and took command of the game. That's what I'm looking at. You got to be able to put yourself in a position where you take command of the game. You get a turnover, because when they get that turnover, now you can move the ball down. You can put more points on the board and force them to chase points. And you're the clear-cut advantage over that. But that's the stuff that frustrates me when you get yourself in those kind of situations where senseless penalties are being made.
It's coaching 101 is what it is.
Yeah, but it's also dumb stuff by dumb players.
Right.
Because the coaches are coaching them.
No, I understand that. But if you're Mike Caldwell and Trayvon Walker costs you 1 game, then Trayvon Walker costs you another game, at some point, do you not look at your defensive players and say, do you guys understand what roughing the passer is?
Yeah.
Because we need to figure this out. Because guess what? Aluakon, he cost him that game too.
Well, look, I'm as worried about those penalties that those players are making. And look, I had Mike Caldwell up for the assistant coach of the year to start the season.
You did.
Okay,
You 100%
I'm
did.
waving the Caldwell flag. I'm like, this dude is money. He's going to turn these guys into stars. Well, the problem I have, as bad as the penalties are, is letting offenses have their way with you. What is worse? Letting someone have their way with you or just constantly screwing it up with the flags? Danny Jones comes out in the beginning of the game, goes 6 of 7 for 65 yards, including the big 30-plus yard strike to Slayton. Okay, that's his first touchdown.
Wait, to who?
Slayton, exactly.
Wait, to who?
Yeah, exactly. His first touchdown of the year. And there were so many nondescript. I mean, you had to keep, even Giants fans that filled up the bank had to keep looking at the program going, who is that? And that's basically what they were doing. They had 2 linemen go down. 2 new offensive linemen have to come in, and they still never got to Danny Jones. And if I'm Mike Caldwell, I don't know, Leon, maybe let someone think about outside contain.
Yeah, who has the responsibility? The quarterback at RPO. Someone has to do it.
My God!
I mean, if the defensive end is crashing, the linebacker's got to be over the top of him or something.
At what point when
somebody's got to have
right?
Somebody's got to have contain. Somebody. I mean, that's assignment football 101.
He had like 6 keeps in that.
Yes.
In that zone read.
Danny accounted for over 300 yards of offense, over 100 yards rushing the football, pretty damn solid completion percentage, and was able to make plays when he needed to make plays. And the Jaguars,
a guy who they've given up on. They didn't sign his option.
Exactly.
They've given up on him.
Could never get him on the ground. The only thing that I've ever seen, like, remember Danny Jones a long time ago? The only thing that stopped him was his own face. He was tackled by his face. Yeah. Hey, Cisco. Dre Cisco, the next time you see Danny Jones, you're probably going to think it's, a Halloween costume trying to scare the hell out of you, because he got juked by Daniel Jones, embarrassed by Daniel Jones. And actually, him and Rayshon, both of them got embarrassed. Remember what Saquon Barkley did to Rayshon? And by the way, Barkley completely neutralized in the beginning of this game and then goes off in the second half.
Until the fourth quarter.
And so you have to
the fourth quarter, by the way, let's go back to last week.
Yeah.
When we were in the Jaguars locker room and I asked, multiple other reporters asked, why are the Giants having success? And multiple Jaguars said they win the fourth quarter. We really need to start doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who won the fourth quarter yesterday?
It's nuts when you think about it. And I'm sure to all of us in this room and everyone out there, all of Duval, you could see the Giants hit another gear in the fourth quarter. Did you see that, Leon? You know what that feels like, to where all of a sudden it's closing time. You've got to make sure that you close that other team out. It seemed like they hit a gear where this football team was searching for answers.
Well, I mean, you play 60 minutes of football. I mean, there was a reason why, I'm going to go back to my Miami days of Miami where we put up the 4 fingers, because we knew the importance of the fourth quarter. You got to be mentally, physically, and you got to be competitively strong in the fourth quarter, because both sides are tired. It's a want to wheels,
mm-hmm.
And you got to figure out who wants it more, who wants the game more in the fourth quarter. With the last 15 minutes to go, who wants the game more in the fourth quarter? And the Jaguars have shown us again and again that the teams that they've been playing, they've wanted a little bit more, and that's just desire. That's desire. When a team is physically and mentally beating you in the fourth quarter, that's a point of desire. That's allowing the team to will itself over you to win the ball games because they want it more.
So Barkley, 18 yards on 9 carries in the first half, and then just bust loose for 110 yards in total on 24 carries, 4 catches for 25 yards. So just look at the yards per play. And that's when Saquon was getting up and looking down at would-be Jaguar tacklers, because he's just gotten over on them. And that is where they physically take over. And so I'm thinking to myself, the analogy of Brian Dable driving the 4-wheel drive truck, just unkept, unshaven, just driving that rugged 4-wheel drive and running over everybody in their wake with 6 wins. And that is something to be said for what Dable's done in a short amount of time.
Here's the thing, I agree. And here's the thing that we're talking about coaching that annoys the hell out of me. The first time Danny Jones kept on the zone read, the first time when he got 13 or 14, the next time your defense is on the sideline, okay, here's what we're doing on zone read. Instead, you got ends on this team that both played at big-time college football programs where, oh, by the way, they saw the zone read every single week. It's not like it's new to them.
Right.
It's not like it's new to anybody on that defense. Zone read's been a factor in football all the way to high school for I don't know how long. They all know what it is. You go to the sideline, the first thing the coach does is, here's how we're attacking zone read. A, B, C. Done. Yeah. The guy should never get more than 2 or 3 yards on it again. But what happens? He keeps again and again and again.
And he averaged almost 10 yards per carry.
By the fourth quarter, he had like a 30 or 40-yard run right on one of those.
Yeah, because they ran 39 times for 236 yards. So you're doing the math.
It's not difficult either.
And by the way, this is what has come out of this NFL Sunday here. There are people in NFL circles talking about that being the best quarterback, running back, rushing combination in America. That's what they were talking about.
You got this responsibility. You got that responsibility. Now let's go play. It's not that difficult. It isn't.
Mike Caldwell's on the field, by the way. Press Taylor's up in the press box. So Mike Caldwell is down on the field.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I haven't seen him up in the press box. So either him or our guy Brenson Buckner. Who has to step in? Leon, I mean, you've been on coaching staffs before.
Yeah.
Is it the responsibility of the coordinator when not only they're unable to read a zone read, but also the penalties? Is it the coordinator who steps in? Is it the head coach? Is it a position coach?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, the one thing you know about in stopping the zone read is that the interior guys have got to get penetration. If the interior guys are getting penetration, then the end has no reason to crash down because the running back can't go nowhere.
Yeah,
you got the quarterback now. Why are you pinching down there?
But at the end of the day, the end still has the quarterback and the safety has the back. It's not that hard.
That's it. Period.
It is literally not that difficult.
Hard. It really is not.
But what Leon's saying is true. They just crashed in.
Yeah, why? Why? You know you have outside responsibility contained. Especially even if the safety is down, you know when they run the zone read that you have the quarterback. There's no reason for you to peek back down in there and try to get him.
Plus, it's also a numbers game inside. Yeah. If he gives it to Saquon, at the very least, you got a numbers game there that can win.
Yes.
Stay out here and contain the edge.
Exactly.
All right. So, Jaguar fans, all of Duval, you are welcome to join in. Modelo Moment. This is your Modelo Moment. All you got to do is fire up the phone call, 207-7071. You know, we wanted to crack a cerveza and celebrate, but instead we're having to commiserate. So 207-7071. JJ, all they got to do is call and just let it rip, correct?
Absolutely.
That's
and we will play you, try to be as funny and as succinct as possible, please.
Yeah. And trip us out just a little bit, all right? Either anger or humor. We love both of them. We'll accept both of them. By the way, let's just dispel one rumor. JJ went as an official to a Halloween costume Saturday night. That was not him that did not give the Jaguars a first down at the middle of the field on Sunday. That was not JJ wearing his official's Halloween costume.
Halloween is on Monday next week.
Yeah.
I might have to come in again.
What I'm wondering...
You'll be throwing yellow flags all over this place.
What I'm wondering, JJ, and you can hit a that on this.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Was JJ one of the referees in yesterday's Buccaneers-Panthers game? Because the NFL is now reviewing an incident in which side judge Jeff Lamberth and line judge Tripp Sutter asked Mike Evans for an autograph in the tunnel after the game.
There's video of it. It's pretty funny.
Wow.
So maybe that was JJ.
It wasn't even Brady. It's like Mike Evans? You're risking your job for a Mike Evans autograph?
Yeah. And by the way, Mike Evans still struggled catching yesterday.
Tommy's struggling mightily.
Oh, well, this is the first time Tom Brady has been under 500 this late into the season since he was a rook in 2000, or rookie starter in 2001. That's how far back we're going.
Speaking of officials, real quick. Speaking of officials, do you have to get like a retired referee and bring him to that facility downtown and say, please explain to our defense what roughing the passer is?
Maybe.
Because we're tired of losing 3 games because of it.
Maybe that's what's necessary. But
I do have the uniform. I could just go down there.
Not only that, your mustache, it's so good now it looks fake.
Yeah.
All I know is
look like a glue on.
Coach Campo was demanding.
Look at JJ's stash right there.
I mean, JJ, when you sent that picture, I was like, is that real or?
Yeah, it's just beautiful.
Pull on it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's spectacular, seriously.
Yeah.
Coach Campo was demanding in the press box, by the way, for someone to explain to him what roughing the passer is.
Coach Campo was in the heat of the drama this week. I don't know if you guys have heard about this.
Yeah.
Really?
We might have to get him out of the press box.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
For his own safety. For his own safety. I have the inside
Was Gene
scoop.
yelling at him?
It's the media. The media against Dave Campo has commenced.
Yeah.
I'm on Dave's side.
Really?
So am I.
Yeah. So we'll definitely get into that.
Yeah, don't let me have to come up to the press box.
Exactly.
I'll start slinging chairs and people wouldn't in them.
Yeah.
Mess with Coach Campo.
You will handle them.
Doesn't matter.
All right. The number. A Modelo Monday. Make it your Modelo moment. 207-7071. Pick up your phone, dial this phone, and just let it rip. Modelo Monday right here on XL Primetime.